In tonight's headlines, top Beijing official says the continuous development of the one country, two systems principle has made Hong Kong the key to the nation's reunification efforts. The government considers setting up a third medical school to address the shortage of doctors in the SAR. And US President Joe Biden says he has given his heart and soul to the nation as he addresses his fellow Democrats for one last time.
I give my heart and soul to our nation.
China's top official for cross-strait affairs has delivered a strong message to Taiwan, calling for reunification and condemning the island's ruling party for promoting independence.
时与势始终在主张国家统一的力量这一边。
Speaking at the Overseas Chinese World Conference for promoting peaceful reunification of China at the Convention and Exhibition Center in Wanchai, Shi Taifeng, the head of Beijing's United Front Work Department, said China is more confident than ever in achieving complete unification and that Taiwan independence is a dead end. He blamed the ruling Democratic Progressive Party in Taiwan for stoking tensions and accused Western forces of trying to hinder China's development. Shi also emphasized Hong Kong's role in promoting reunification, highlighting the success of one country, two systems in resolving historical issues.
香港回归以来的成功，充分展示了“一国两制”
Chief Executive Zhang Li echoed Shi's message, calling on overseas Hong Kongers to tell the story of China's peaceful reunification and the success of one country, two systems to the global community.
立足湘江 放眼台海.
Zheng Yanxiong, the director of the Liaison Office of the Central People's Government in Hong Kong, also spoke at the conference. He stated that both Hong Kong and Taiwan residents are Chinese and that seeking national unification, healing historical wounds, and protecting their shared homeland is a common aspiration. About 1,200 people attended the conference, which was held in the SAR for the first time in 14 years. It also comes at a time of heightened tensions between the mainland and Taiwan. Jeremy Zhu, Cable News.
According to an annual survey by the Hong Kong Journalists Association, the Press Freedom Index in the SAR has slid to an 11-year low. Members of the public gave press freedom in the city a score of 42.2, while the rating from members of the media fell to a record low of 25. Restrictions and fears of prosecution under the Article 23 national security legislation has made reporters more hesitant to criticize the government and its policies, the survey highlighted. The media's function as a watchdog has been severely affected. The survey was conducted by the Hong Kong Public Opinion Research Institute, interviewing around 1,000 people and 251 working journalists.
香港的新闻自由在安全稳定的环境下。
Addressing the media in Beijing, Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Mao Ning said Hong Kong's press freedom has been better protected since the implementation of the national security law. Evelyn Bai, Cable News. Health Secretary Lo Chong-mo said the government will actively consider establishing a third medical school in the city to relieve the shortage of medical staff. Currently, 590 students graduate every year from the University of Hong Kong and the Chinese University of Hong Kong, the only two institutions in the SAR with medical schools. Nancy Yip, the president of the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, said the school aimed to establish the city's third medical school by 2027. Addition of a third such school has raised concerns whether it will lead to competition among colleges to attract teaching staff.
醫學院嘅教學人從來都係全球去揾嘅啦。
Legislative Council member David Lam said the competition has always existed and medical teachers are recruited from all over the world. Lam highlighted that the most important thing is the quality of the faculty.
A section of the false ceiling at Eastern Hospital collapsed last night. The incident, in which no one was injured, occurred around 8 p.m. in the geriatric male ward. Pieces of plaster measuring 20 by 30 centimeters and 3 centimeters thick came crashing down on the floor. Patients were transferred to another ward and services were not affected. The hospital said it was very concerned about the incident and has initiated emergency repairs and inspections of the ward facilities. The section of the ceiling which collapsed was inspected in April last year, and the cause of the incident is under investigation.
In an official change of guard, supporters rallied behind U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris on the first day of the Democratic Party's National Convention in Chicago. Themed "For the People, for Our Nation," the four-day event aims to introduce Harris and her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, to the nation. Harris will also be officially nominated as the Democratic Party's candidate to run for president against her Republican rival Donald Trump in November's election. Among the prominent figures addressing the convention was former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, the party's 2016 nominee, who hailed the strides women have made in U.S. politics and the significance of Harris's candidacy.
The story of my life and the history of our country is that progress is possible but not guaranteed. We have to fight for it and never, ever give up. There is always a choice. Do we push forward or pull back? Come together as we the people, or split into us versus them? That's the choice we face in this election. Kamala has the character, experience, and vision to lead us forward. So, with faith in each other and joy in our hearts, let's send Kamala Harris and Tim Walz to the White House.
Officially slated to address the convention on the last day, Harris made a surprise appearance to thank U.S. President Joe Biden for his service to the country and galvanize support for her presidential bid.
Joe, thank you for your historic leadership, for your lifetime of service to our nation, and for all you will continue to do. We are forever grateful to you.
Growing concerns over his health and opposition from party members saw Biden withdraw his bid from re-election. If Harris wins, she will be the first woman in U.S. history to win the presidency. Quentin Yang, Cable News.
I would like to introduce my father, your 46th President of the United States, Joe Biden.
Called onto the stage by his daughter, Ashley Biden, an emotional Joe Biden received a standing ovation from his fellow Democrats at the packed arena in Chicago. Amid chants of "We love you, Joe," the 81-year-old, who has endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris right from the time he decided to quit the race, made it more of a farewell speech, addressing the Democrats probably for one last time.
It's been the honor of my lifetime to serve as your president. I love the job, but I love my country more. I love my country more. And all this talk about how I'm angry at all those people who said I should step down, that's not true. For 50 years, like many of you, I've given my heart and soul to our nation. And I've been blessed a million times in return with the support of the American people. I've either been too young to be in the Senate because I wasn't 30 yet, and too old to stay as president. But I hope you know how grateful I am to all of you.
As Biden departs the political stage, he has pledged to be the best volunteer for Harris's campaign, knowing that his legacy depends on her defeating Republican Donald Trump in November. Quentin Yang, Cable News.
what would be the biggest foreign takeover of a Japanese company? A limitation Couche-Tard, the Arizona-based firm which owns the Circle K convenience stores, is planning to buy out its much larger rival 7-Eleven, which is operated by Tokyo-based 7 & I Holdings. In a press release, Couche-Tard said it is stepping up efforts to reach a mutually agreeable transaction that benefits both companies' customers, employees, franchisees, and shareholders. At this stage, there can be no certainty that any purchase transaction will be reached. Valued at roughly $31 billion before the offer, 7 & I said in a statement that the company has formed a special committee of the board of directors, intending to conduct a prompt, careful, and comprehensive review of the proposal, which is preliminary and non-binding. 7 & I shares have since jumped nearly 23%. If the merger goes through, it will create the world's top operator with over 100,000 convenience stores. In Hong Kong and Macau, 7-Eleven has more than 900 stores, while Circle K owns over 350 shops.
Audit firm PricewaterhouseCoopers, better known as PwC, is facing severe penalties from mainland regulators for its role in a major financial fraud case involving developer China Evergrande. Amounting to roughly $78 billion, the financial irregularities have further damaged the Evergrande name, which has been struggling with debts, bankruptcy, and is accused of misleading investors about its financial situation. Sources indicate that the initial draft of the penalty notice uses exceptionally strong language to criticize and reflect the seriousness of the firm's actions. State-owned enterprises and financial institutions in China have been voluntarily terminating their services with London-headquartered PwC. Bank of China is the latest in a growing list of firms which have declined to appoint PwC as its auditor.